Alright guys, if you're going to travel around Australia like us, you're going to need plenty of power to do that. So today I'm going to give you some tips on how we create power and how we conserve that power. Let me take you around and show you what it's about. Up top on our motorhome we've got 3 solar panels, and those 3 solar panels feed into 2 house batteries, which we have here. We've took 2 house batteries and they provide us the power for us to use each day. Let me show you around. So solar network, that's really important. So we've got 3 solar panels here on top of our motorhome. One up here in the top left hand corner. We believe these 2 to be about 120 watts. And we've got a large one up here in the right hand corner, which we believe is a 160 watt panel. So the 2 smaller ones were here when we bought the motorhome, and we've had the big one fitted since we purchased. The important things with these solar panels is they need to be clean. So I get up here on a regular basis and keep these clean. Use my trusty sponge, use a chamois, anything like that, and give them a wipe down. Get all the dust, bird crap, dirt, anything like that off the solar panels. Keeping them clean will make your solar panels far more efficient. Hi, so we've shown you around outside the motorhome. We've been up, shown you on top of the solar panels. Come inside now, I'll give you some more tips on how to conserve power. Okay, so our solar is run through this regulator. So from the solar panels up on top of the roof, they charge that battery system down below, goes through this regulator. At the moment, the regulator is telling us what charge we're getting into the motorhome. You can see at the moment it's charging at 13.9. It's powering up really nicely. It's the middle of the day, 12:30. We're out in the sun. It's getting heaps. So we can see that we're charging up at 13.9 and around 14 volts. So there's heaps, 24 amps powering in there at the moment. So we're getting really good power through our solar panel system, and that's going to give us heaps of energy to run for the day. Now, we use a lot of power. There's 3 of us adults here in our motorhome. Our son travels with us. He's not with us at the moment. We're back home in Brisbane and he's staying with his brother, but we do use a lot of power between the 3 of us. Here's some of the things that we have to power up on a regular basis. So we've got UHFs, we've got torches, we've got our camera equipment, so waterproof camera, GoPro, our DSLR camera, we've got our laptops, we've got phones, we've got the phone as well that Adele's got in her hand, speakers that we use for our music, shavers, our new Nighthawk modem, and power banks. So we use power banks to charge up our phones. So we've got 3 or 4 of those. So we've got a lot of equipment. All this equipment we're using pretty much on a daily basis. So we do need, and we do use a lot of power. We've got a Waeco fridge as well that we use, and it has to be powered up, and it probably takes the most power. So we are high-end users with our power. As you can see, we use a lot of equipment, and so getting it right with our power is really important to us. Okay, so now we've got all that power coming in to the motorhome. Now it's about managing that power and making sure that all that energy we've created lasts us the distance of what we need. So one way in which we do that is managing it through, well, a big mistake we made for a long time was we would put things on charge overnight and charge it so it was all powered up for when we wake up the next morning. The problem with that is we're using that power at a time when there's no power coming in. So we've learnt from that mistake. We now make sure we charge up during the day. So we've seen that we've got great power coming in right now. So we've got a laptop, we've got phones, we've got our Nighthawk. They're all on charge now, powering up when we've got good power coming into the motorhome, and that's going to use really well. So, so the inverter's on, we've got all that working. Another thing we have, another tip we have is our fans. So we have a Sirocco fan over our bed. These are fantastic. They're purposely made for boats. They're marine, so they use really low power. Fantastic little fan, and they move around and will change to face whichever direction you want it to. The other thing we have, Matt uses, is this Ryobi fan. So it uses a bit more power, but what we can do is we've got 2 batteries. That simply connects in the back, and he's got his fan. He uses, that'll last him pretty much all night. So we've got a big battery there, and we've also got a smaller backup one as well. So I've got a drill and other tools as well that all work with this Ryobi system. Yeah, we've got a dust buster and a few other things as well. So they all work really well. Great equipment, and that way, once again, these can just be powered up during the day when we've got really good power. Nighttime, plugs this in, as opposed to we used to run it through electricity all night long. So another great way in which we're conserving power. So those are some of the tips that we have. Another one is we use phone banks. So during the day, or whenever we need it, our phones, we don't normally plug it straight into the power point. We use these phone banks. We just bought 2 new ones because one of them went on us. This has got 10,000 amp, 6,000 amp. You can get these from JB Hi-Fi and different places, and we've just bought these 2 as well. They're 5,000 amp. So we'll get a couple of charges of our phones out of this one, and this big 10,000 one we'll get 3.5 charges on our phones with those phone banks. So these phone banks allow us to charge our phones anytime we want, and then when we've got good power coming in, we can charge these back up again. So those are some of the tips we have for utilizing our power. Other things we have here in the motorhome is Waeco fridge, and we have our main fridge. The main fridge is dual, so it works on electricity when we're powered in, but when we come off power, then it'll switch over to gas, so we don't have that consuming power during the day or any time we're off grid. We also have a Waeco fridge. So we use a little Waeco fridge here as well, well stocked. We just use that for all of our drinks, and that's probably one of our biggest uses of power. So we'll turn that one off if we're getting a little bit low, and at night time, overnight, we turn that off. The last tip we have for you is here, the inverter. So we've got a switch here for our inverter, and what we've found is simply switch that off at night time or whenever we're not using any power. So we'll simply switch that off, and that way the inverter's not running at that time, and the inverter does use a lot of power. Well guys, there's our tips, there's a few ideas. Hope they work out for you. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again soon. Cheers guys.